In this video, I'm going to be upgrading my stock 2-gallon tank to a IMS 3-gallon tank for my Beta 390 RRS. So this white one, that's the stock Beta 2-gallon tank. The black one, that's the IMS 3-gallon tank. Now, first order of business is going to be draining your fuel, removing the seat, removing the tank. I've already covered that in another video, so if you don't know how to remove a tank, refer to my other video on how to remove the gas tank. So these are the parts that come with the IMS 3-gallon tank. This is the front bracket. You're going to put this washer on top of this bracket, and this threaded cone is going to go inside this. This is the rear bracket, and these two are for the rear bracket as well, the smaller Phillips. And this is going to be the shorter of the two screws. This is actually going to be for the front bracket, and then this is going to be for the rear. Okay? So first I'm going to install the front bracket. Again, it's the bracket, the washer, the large washer, and the shorter of the two long screws. And it's going to be a 4mm Allen wrench. Alright, so now I'm going to install the rear mounting bracket. It's going to be the bracket with the cone washer, whatever you call that, the collar washer, I don't know. And I'm going to use these two short Phillips screws that came with the kit. Alright, so next we're going to move the seat hook from the stock tank, and we're going to put it on the new tank. So next I'm going to remove the fuel sensor from the stock tank. It's going to be an 8mm bolt. And don't forget your little rubber ring. It was right here. Don't lose that. That was right below the sensor. Alright, so now I'm going to remove this rear fuel pump. It's going to be an 8mm socket. Now there's a couple of high pressure couplings in here, these that have the gray connector. So I'm going to use this tool that was included with the kit to remove those couplings. So I fit this tool inside this gray area, or inside the gray circle. I fit it inside in the gap. So then you just got to be very careful and don't break the hose or anything. Just apply some pressure and lift up. Okay, so this is one of the two high pressure fuel lines. I use this tool to separate the coupling from the fuel line. Now, I never used this tool before, so notice that there's four gray little notches on the inside. Well, that's how you use this tool. You have to slide this in and then press down on each of those gray tabs on the inside. And once you have those four done, then you can you'll feel that you can release the cable or the line, and it'll pull up. Just be careful, don't damage the cord. I learned my lesson from removing the gas tank for the first time when I just peeked underneath the gas tank and I had fuel spill all over my eyes. So when I remove this, I put safety glasses just in case. So so yeah, fuel kind of just splattered all over from the cable when it got released. But you might want to wear some safety glasses or just stand away from it, not staring at the inside. So I'm going to remove the second one. Okay, so I have this inside this groove right here. It's fitted inside perfectly. Okay, so now you just got to press down, and you'll hear the clicks. You'll hear so you want to hear 4 separate clicks. Okay, so it's pressed down all the way. So that tells me it's pressed down all the way. There's a nice gap right here on top of the tool. So I'm just going to lift up and watch the fuel. Alright, so now you got to remove this electrical connection right here. There's a release button on the top right here. You just press down and pull. Boom. So this is going to be your rear fuel pump. So now you got to fish out the bracket that was underneath. Okay, fish that out from the rear. Alright, so now it's time to remove the forward fuel pump. That's this one right here, using the 8mm socket. So here's the forward fuel pump. Again, be careful, fuel might be flying around once you pull this out. So, got to fish out this backing plate that came from the forward pump. You're going to fish it out to the rear. So now I'm going to put this front bracket through the rear opening and fish it over to the front. I just put a couple of nuts on here so I won't lose the bracket. It's just put on there loosely. So now I'm going to fish the front fuel pump into the rear hole. Okay, so the rear or the front pump is in. Now I just have to put the bracket on. It's going to be the brackets, it's for additional support. It's going to be the brackets with the blue stripe. But the other brackets, they're for the front, or I'm sorry, for the back. But you'll just line up the holes and you'll be fine. And then they want you to use their low profile nuts. going to fish the front bracket inside. Alright, so I fished through the front pump. Now I'm going to connect the components to the rear pump. And you want to make sure that this plug is facing this way, okay, when you do this. So this is the rear. This is the rear, okay, and you want this plug to face the front, okay. It's just the way this hose is aligned. It's just easier to connect that way. Okay, the next step is installing these support brackets and using the nut, the low profile nut that they provided. Okay, next it's time to install the fuel sensor. Don't forget your green O-ring. For the side shrouds to be able to fit on the 3-gallon IMS tank, and I would imagine the 4-gallon too, I'm not sure, but notice this gap here and this about ½ inch or so of space, and it's because of this lip. It's this raised lip. So I need to trim this entire lip off on both sides of this, on this shroud and the one on the right side. Okay, so I had to trim off this entire lip. See? So I'm gonna have to trim off this entire lip in order for it to fit on the new tank. So I just dremeled this off. So now it's time to connect this tank to the bike. I'm going to plug this cord in, this cord, as well as the opposite of, it's kind of tight, basically the opposite of this connector. It's buried inside here. So now I've already plugged in the fuel line. That was a pain. And now you're gonna make sure your tank is laid onto the frame without any hot spots, not pinching anything. You're gonna line up the rear hole, rear mounting bracket, and push the tank forward a little bit. Okay, so the instructions from IMS calls for you to push this tank forward to the front bracket and first mount the rear hull. I recommend you to actually mount the front loosely, not all the way snug, and then mount the rear hull, because lining this up with the front brackets was a pain in the ass. And also when you screw the front screws into the front bracket, I recommend putting a cloth of some sort, like so, into the crevice, because a couple of times the screw fell down in the crevices, like near behind the radiator and whatnot. Pain in the ass. Anyway, finally got it mounted, all lined up. So we're just gonna put the side shrouds on. All right, finally, just tested it. It works. Just put the seat back on. This is what it looks like with the black 3-gallon IMS tank. So when you upgrade to the 3-gallon IMS tank, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the 4-gallon as well, you're going to face this, where this gap, it's the two radiator shrouds are no longer going to be together. It's actually going to have a gap because to accommodate this wider tank. Now, and because of the tank, that's why you had to trim the lip right here off both of the shrouds. And IMS does supply you with 2 screws that go one in each shroud in lieu of the factory's one down the middle. Also notice the gap here because of the wider tank. So, and this is with a stock seat. So with the 3-gallon tank even, you have this gap. Now, I do have a C-Concept seat that's built for IMS tanks that's on their website. You just look under the IMS type for the beta. And it's actually, the seat is actually wider here to take out this gap, and it still maintains a thinness here, and then it widens out here for more butt support for the long distance riding. And there you go. This is what it looks like from the front.